In today's world, hiring a public adjuster to address any problems with your home is a must. Inflation is affecting your home insurance claim, and you might not even know it. Plus, people are spending more time at home lately, and if you've noticed any damages at your house, Total Claims International, a public adjusting firm, can help. They provide free inspections, they review your insurance policy, and represent your best interest in a claim against your insurance company. You can call them right now for a free inspection, 305-381-5009, or visit totalclaimsint.com. Joining us now is Juan Johnny Mendez, managing partner of Total Claims, and people know you as Johnny, so I'm going to ask you, Johnny, what exactly is a public adjuster?
Well, hi, Kirk. Thank you so much for having me. A public adjuster, as we've discussed on other occasions, is an adjuster that works exclusively for the homeowners and for business owners when they have an insurance claim of property damages or anything that could be covered under their first-party insurance policy. If you think about making an insurance claim, you normally contact your insurance company. They, in turn, will hire an adjuster, or they have their own in-house adjuster, go out and evaluate the claim and make their determination as to what damages may or may not be covered. As far as a public adjuster is concerned, we represent exclusively the homeowner, and our job is to make sure that anything that in fact should be covered or that should be considered as part of the claim is in fact considered part of the claim. And more importantly, one of the things that we do is we ensure that the insurance, or that rather that the insured, is in compliance with the insurance policy itself, because there are certain obligations that an insured has and they have to fulfill to ensure that they can secure a recovery that's satisfactory.
And Johnny, a lot of people, I guess, if I got that right, the insurance adjuster the insurance company sends out represents them, right? Not you as the homeowner.
That's correct. And the fact of the matter is, most insurance company adjusters are in fact ethical, but at the end of the day, they do work for the insurance company. Our job is to work for the benefit of the insured. And a lot of these insurance policies, if not all of them, have some issues which there may be some ambiguity as to what the coverages are and how you determine those coverages. There may be some ambiguity as to how the damages are considered as far as the sub limits are concerned. So we make sure that our client benefits to the maximum level possible as to what their coverages may be.
You know, say someone wants to hire Total Claims International as a public adjuster. So what are the costs, entailed with hiring a public adjuster?
That's a good question, because when they hire us, first of all, we work on a contingency basis. So if we're not successful in a recovery that is satisfactory to our client, we don't get paid. And to prepare a claim correctly, you really do need the right experts. And there's occasions where you need, for example, an engineer. You need a forensic expert, things of that nature, to be able to make that proper evaluation. We have a very experienced team that can work on putting that together.
That's great stuff. And, you talk about experience, and, I've done doing my research on you. I'm a former client, so I can attest to your experience. And what else sets you guys apart?
I really think that the key for hiring any expert is, in fact, their knowledge of what they're doing and their experience in that particular field. I myself have been a licensed adjuster since 1994. I've been in the insurance business since 1992. I've handled multiple hurricanes, handled multiple types of claims, not just small homeowners claims, but also major commercial claims. And my team also is highly experienced in being able to handle these claims. That is really the big advantage, because ultimately being licensed is important. And in fact, if you are a licensed public adjuster, you do have to meet a certain degree or a certain level of minimum requirements. But to be a good public adjuster, to be a competent public adjuster, at the end of the day, there's no substitute for experience.
You mentioned hurricanes. We all know the threat of hurricanes, but what is the biggest problem that Florida homeowners, they might not even know about, and it could be right under their nose?
I think that you bring up a good point, because that in fact is the issue, that there may be covered damages in your home that you're unaware of. I'm going to give you a simple example. Let's say you have a plumbing leak. You might see evidence of that plumbing leak as a small stain on your wall. But what about the damages to the interstitial wall space? What about the potential mold that could develop? If you have a leak under the slab, maybe that's covered, maybe it's not. You need to evaluate the policy, but you won't know it. You may think, well, I have a problem as far as slow drains, or there's not enough water pressure in my shower, but there could be a cause, a peril that could be covered under your insurance policy, and we can make that evaluation for you. And most people don't understand what their coverages are because, let's face it, an insurance policy is a contract, which is somewhat complicated for a layperson to be able to understand.
And you mentioned, water pressure and stuff like that. And, could that be a sign of other problems in terms of your pipes that are underneath your house?
Definitely. We have handled many claims where, unfortunately, due to the nature of, for example, cast iron pipes, any property that was built before 1975 has cast iron pipes. By their very nature, those plumbing systems will be failing if they haven't already failed. And in many cases, this would be covered under your insurance company. Although they are applying many more sublimits, many more exclusions, but many of these things, if handled correctly by a professional, you can get paid. And quite frankly, these are substantial claims that could turn into tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars.
So we've got cast iron. That could be a problem that could be hidden right in front of your face. And there's another concern I think that you want to talk about that could be hidden or could be smaller than you think, but it could be a bigger problem than you think, correct, regarding your home?
Just about any issue that you see. For example, you see a ceiling stain. Might seem like a small roof leak. There could be something more than just a small roof leak. You could have a failed roofing system, and it could be due to a covered peril. You could have damages in the attic area. You could have mold in the attic area. You could have all sorts of other problems that you're not aware of. Anything that you might see that could be somewhat problematic. You are having problems with your electrical system. Sometimes you try to turn on a light and it's not turning on correctly. You think it might be the light bulb, but it might be something more important or more serious. Difficulties with the air conditioning. It could be a lightning strike, for example, and you may not realize it. So there are a whole slew of events that many people don't claim because they're unaware that this could be covered under their policy. Again, one of the advantages that we offer a free, no obligation inspection. If you think it could be covered, if you think you have something, we'll go out and take a look at it. If it is, we can help you, and if it's not, we'll let you know.
And you mentioned mold. As a homeowner myself, that's a big concern with your family, how to handle it, and you guys are very well equipped and have advice on mold as well, correct?
Well, it's not only a matter of having advice. Mold is a very tricky issue because just about every home has mold. It's ubiquitous in South Florida. The question is, what caused the mold? The question is, what type of mold? Is it toxic mold? Is it some mold maybe would be quite benign? Has it caused any health effects in the home? So again, these are all the details, all the fine print, if you will, that normally an expert can only evaluate and tell you what the problem is. You could see something at your property, a small mold stain, and you may be able to clean it off with just water and Clorox, but it could be more serious than that, and we can help you out with those damages.
Yeah, and that's one of the many reasons why you need to hire a public adjuster with any problems in their home. But there's another reason, including maybe how your insurance coverage is actually written on your policy, right?
As part of the inspection process, we also offer a free evaluation of your policy, and that's crucially important. We found that since maybe 2004, 2005, there was a very active hurricane season in Florida. And since that time, we've seen that every year, in a very systemic fashion, these insurance policies have started to add exclusions, add limitations, add sublimits to different coverages. And most homeowners are unaware of that. And so they buy a homeowner's policy, they think they have coverage, but unfortunately they don't. Especially now, before hurricane season starts to hit, it's important to understand what coverages you may have under your insurance policy. And as I said, one of the things that we offer, one of the services that we offer to the entire community is we're more than happy to make that evaluation to determine if you have sufficient coverage for your hurricane, to determine what kind of deductible you may or may not have. You may think you have a 2% deductible, it could go to 5%. Or many people think they have a normal standard deductible and they don't. These are the things that are very important to evaluate before a storm hits or before a catastrophic event hits, as opposed to after the fact when it would be too late.
Yeah, you don't want to be surprised on any of those factors. Now, what if you've already, say, filed a claim, you closed it, you settled it? You know, there may still be a need for a public adjuster to get involved, correct?
That's very, very common. We run into that situation all the time. In the absence of having signed a full and final release with your insurance company, which is somewhat unusual, most claims can in fact be reopened, predicated on the circumstances. So we're more than happy to look at a claim and see if there's anything missing. If in fact they did not properly evaluate the damage, if they did not make that determination correctly, if they didn't issue sufficient payment, if they wrote the scope of work incorrectly. Those are things that we can look at and we can help you if that's the case.
And listen, you can help, you know, a lot of people, and I think that this is why I like interviewing, you know, people like yourself on Sizzle TV. You know, you went and worked Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico.
Yes,
So you're Cuban, right? You come of Cuban heritage. You're Hispanic, and it doesn't matter if it's at abuela's house, abuelito's house, la tia's house. You know, you can help. You can bridge that barrier. Language doesn't matter. Cultural, ethnic. Tú conoces a la gente y tu compañía conoce a la gente, and they know how to handle all these situations.
Definitivamente, nosotros no solamente trabajamos para la comunidad en general, pero la comunidad hispana ha sido para nosotros un fuerte con respecto a poder ayudarlos y ser parte de la clientela que hemos servido.
Me encanta eso, boricua, cubano, venezolano, dominicano, nica, no importa si acabas de llegar, si llegaste hace 10 años, mira, Juan, Johnny Mendez y Total Claims International. Mira, cualquier otra cosa, anything else you want to mention that I think we've covered a lot, but is there anything that you know we didn't cover, that we didn't hit on, that you think is of importance before we go?
I don't know. You're an excellent interviewer, Kirk. I think you've pretty much hit on all the pertinent points. You put our phone number there. Any questions, any one of the folks that are watching this interview have, please feel free to contact our office. We're more than happy to answer any questions we can over the phone. As I said, we offer free inspections, free policy evaluation, so there's no obligation whatsoever, and we're here to serve the community.
And listen, years before I launched Sizzle TV, I was a client of Johnny's, and that's how I came to know of Total Claims and their scope, and they helped me out a great deal with my home. So if you want a testimonial, you got one right here. So thank you, Johnny. Thank you for being my public adjuster. You know, whenever I have an issue, you know, I have Johnny on speed dial. Gracias, Johnny.
Thank you, Kirk.
Thank you, brother.